feeling hopeless and worthless most of the time, feeling apathetic, like you don't want to do anything, you feel lethargic most of the time, you feel you have no interest in doing anything, okay? Also, having suicidal ideations is also a sign and symptom of depression, okay? Welcome back again to the Silent Struggles channel, a channel that focuses more on creating awareness, inspiring one another, and educating each other on matters to do with mental health, okay? So today I want us to proceed from where we left last time. I remember last time we were able to understand what mental health is and what are some of the signs and symptoms associated with mental illnesses, okay? So today I want us to understand some of the mental disorders as well as how best they can be managed, okay? But before we get there, allow me to state that mental illness is a condition like any other, and it can be treated, it can be managed, and someone can be able to live a fulfilling life, okay? Also, mental illness is not a respecter of anyone. It affects the old, it affects, the young. It is not a respecter of anyone's socioeconomic class. It is not a respecter of anyone's religion. Anyone or everyone is likely to get affected with mental illness, and that is why we are creating this awareness to help people understand what are some of the signs and symptoms that someone can be able to pick at an early age so that you can be able to seek intervention before it is too late, okay? So today I want us to dwell on the three most common mental disorders, that is depression, anxiety, and schizophrenia, okay? However, we are going to major on depression for today. Then as we move forward on our next episodes, we will tackle on the anxiety as well as the schizophrenia, okay? So depression basically is a mental disorder that affects the way you think, it affects the way you feel, it affects the way you behave, okay? Basically, it affects your normal functioning, okay? So this is characterized by some of the signs and symptoms like feeling sad and anxious most of the time, feeling hopeless and worthless most of the time, feeling apathetic, like you don't want to do anything, you feel lethargic most of the time, you feel you have no interest in doing anything, okay? Also, having suicidal ideations is also a sign and symptom of depression, okay? So all this leads to depression, okay? So that is why we need to be very vigilant on these signs and symptoms so that we can be able to pick them at an early age and get the necessary help to prevent us from sinking into severe depression, okay? Now, some of the causes of mental disorders. One is family history. So if you come from a family where there is a history of a mental illness, then you become predisposed genetically to a mental illness, okay? Another thing is childhood traumas. If you suffered some childhood traumas when you were young and they were never resolved, again, this predisposes you to mental illnesses, okay? Another thing is about drugs and substance abuse. You realize that people who abuse drugs, it affects their brain, hence it becomes very hard for them to think rationally, hence becoming predisposed to mental illnesses, okay? Another thing is about medical conditions. You realize people who suffer chronic illnesses, they take time to process the diagnosis, and along the way, they get likely to getting affected to mental illnesses, okay? So the best way we can be able to prevent mental illnesses, the best way we can be able to overcome mental illnesses, the best way we can be able to treat mental illnesses, one is by seeking help. Let us normalize seeking help, and more so especially when we observe some of the signs and symptoms that we talked about. Let us purpose to seek help. Let us not just sit down and wait, okay? Seek help from a counselor, seek help from a therapist, seek help from a psychologist, and in case you need my help, I'll put my poster here for more details, okay? So till next time on our next episode. Bye-bye.